Welcome to Enter the Unknown, your one-stop shop for answers to questions that you were never bored enough to ask. My name is FJ, and today we're in Hoenn to answer a brand new question. Can you beat Pokemon Emerald using only Azurill? After our run through Crystal, I felt like I could take a break from Unown for just one video. As my first challenge took me through Kanto, and my second saw me conquer Johto, I thought Hoenn would be a fitting destination for challenge number 3. I settled on Azurill because it's the weakest Gen 3 Pokemon with a base stat total of just 190. At the same time, I love its design and knew it had the potential to be great. A quick rundown of the rules: we can't use items in battle, we can only use Azurill to battle, and just so things are possible, we're allowed to use HM slaves outside of battle. I think that's everything you need to know. Okay, let's get started. One big thing that Azurill has in her favour is the ability Huge Power, which doubles her attack stat. That said, even with that ability, Azurill's attack stat is still just tied with Pichu. Stats aren't important right now though, we have much bigger issues. A starting moveset of Splash and Charm means we can't actually deal any damage without depleting our 60 PP and forcing Azurill to struggle. Unfortunately, every wild Pokemon we can currently face has an attacking move. If we try to waste our PP in a single battle, we'll be knocked out, healed up, and our PP will be fully restored. Instead, we need to save our game, encounter a Pokemon, use a move, and then hope they use a non-offensive move or miss their attack. If they do, we can run, save, and start again. If they don't, we load our game back up and retry our luck. Eventually, we use up our 40 PP in Splash and 20 PP in Charm, and we can finally use Struggle. After a few battles, we grow to level 6 and learn Tail Whip. Lovely. 30 more PP that I now need to get rid of. We're almost an hour into our playthrough when we deplete our Tail Whip PP, but as long as I don't accidentally go to a Pokemon Center, things should pick up from here. When we reach level 8, it's time to face May. To my surprise, her Trico goes down in 2 hits, and we've won our first battle. At level 10 we learn Bubble, and even though it's nice to finally have an attack, I'd much rather keep using Struggle. At this point, Struggle will do more damage than even a super effective Bubble. We use up all of our PP and move through Petalburg towards Rustboro. In Petalburg Woods we run into a Team Aqua Grunt who's harassing a Devoncorp employee. Zuri takes him down, and later, after hitting level 15, she learns Slam. Finally, we have a good stab move. At the 3-hour mark, we visit a Pokemon Center for the first time, as we now have a better physical move than Struggle. It's probably about time we try our luck in a gym. The Rustboro City Gym Leader Roxanne has a team of 3 Pokemon, 2 Geodude and a Nosepass. The 2 Geodude are identical, they're both level 12 with the ability Rock Head and a moveset of Tackle, Defense Curl, Rock Throw and Rock Tomb. Her final Pokemon Nosepass is level 15. With Sturdy for her ability and holding an Oran Berry, the difference between her moveset and Geodude's is minor. Block replaces Rock Throw, and Harden fills in for Defense Curl. Both of our Geodude go down after getting off a Rock Tomb, so we're facing off against Nosepass at about half health. It's a pretty close fought battle in the end, but Nosepass faints, and with that, we've earned ourselves our first gym badge. After retrieving the Devon goods, meeting Mr. Briny and rescuing Pico, we run into May in Rustboro and she wants to battle. Her Wingull and Trico are simply no match for Azurill, who knocks them both out without taking any damage. We then sail with Mr. Briny to Dewford Town, and we train up a bit more. At level 21 we replace Bubble with Water Gun. Unfortunately, we'll probably need a few more levels before we can take on Brawly. At level 25 we challenge Brawly and his team of fighting types. As a pure normal type, this gym could be an issue. Brawly has a team of 3, but it may as well be 2. His level 16 Meditite only has one attacking move, Focus Punch. As it fails if the user is hit by a damaging move, you just have to keep attacking and Meditite can't do anything. Machop and Makuhita are both loaded up with fighting type moves though, so there's still plenty to be wary of. Ultimately, level 25 was probably overkill, as Zuri one-shotted all of Brawly's Pokemon. The second gym badge came much easier than expected. We travel to Slateport and run some errands, but as we leave for Mauville, we run into May again. She's added a Slugma since we last met in Rustboro, and look, it's not the most impressive addition, but the Lava Slug did end up hurting Azurill more than Wingull or Grovyle could. So far, May hasn't put up much of a fight. Outside of the Mauville City Gym, we meet a man who offers to teach Rollout to Azurill. By the sound of it, he just rolled around on the ground until Zuri copied him. However he did it, it's a big upgrade on Tail Whip. We then bump into Wally, and he wants a battle. It's an incredibly intense battle. Oh. Yeah, it's already over. Wally's Ralts is not much of a match for Zuri. Just like that, we're up to gym number 3. Watson has 4 Pokemon. A Voltorb and an Electrike, both level 20, a level 22 Magneton, and a level 24 Manectric. There are a ton of potential problems to deal with against Watson, with paralysis and confusion prominent amongst them. If you have an Azurill who just learnt Rollout though, this battle is fine. Zuri crushes Watson to earn us badge number 3. After replacing Slam with the TM for secret power, we cross paths with teams Aqua and Magma at Meteor Falls. We follow Maxie to Mount Chimney and take him on atop its peak. Azurill is just too good though. These battles are a little too easy for her. With the evil teams out of her hair? Fur. Flesh? Feathers. Gills. What does an Azurill have? With the evil teams out of her hair for a second, it's time to take on Flannery. I could tell you about the Lava Ridge Gym Leader's team, but Rollout would just interrupt me before I'd finished. It really is the perfect move to take on Flannery. Numel takes the 30 and 60 power hits to charge it up, Slugma is wiped out by the 120, Camerupt and Torkoal are being hit by a 240 base power move and a 481 respectively. You've got a 59% chance of landing 5 hits in a row, and if you do, she doesn't stand a chance. That guy rolling around in the streets of Mauville basically handed me 2 gym badges. Once Torkoal goes down to an overkill critical hit, we receive our 4th gym badge. For the battle with Norman, I decided to replace Water Gun with Double Team. Slacking has base 160 attack, base 150 HP, and base 100 defense. Even with Truant, I can't really afford to take a Facade or a counter. Spinda doesn't pose much of a threat, so I know I can get off 6 double teams to avoid trouble against Vigoroth, Slacking, and Linoon. I gave Zuri a Personberry to hold for this battle so she can make her way through at least one Teeter Dance. Slacking still has feint attack, but his special attack isn't much to worry about. Norman is so scared of losing to his son that he used 2 Hyper Potions in this battle, but the elevated evasion holds up and we take down the Petalburg Gym Leader. That's number 5. When May catches up to us outside of Fortree, she's unsurprisingly dropped her Wingull in favour of Lombre. As far as rivals go, she hasn't done a whole lot to challenge us. Once again, Azurill takes down her whole team with ease. After going off script for our battle with Norman, we return to our rollout routes against Winona. As the flying type gym leader, 4 of her 5 Pokemon are weak to rock type moves. Only Skarmory's steel typing keeps it from being vulnerable to rollout. Tropius surviving on 1 HP kept me from one-shotting her whole team, but we still beat her easily. With the Fortree gym badge added to our collection, we only have 2 more to earn. For the final battle with May, she's evolved her Wingull into Pelipper and dropped Lombre in favour of Tropius. It's kind of weird to me that your rival never gets to the final stage evolution of their starter in this game. I'm not sure why they chose that. Maybe if she had, Azurill would have struggled a small bit, but May's Grovyle doesn't last long. At this point, I'm pretty much convinced that Zuri is the greatest Pokemon in existence. After a quick meeting with Archie on Mount Pyre, we fly to Jagged Pass and locate the Magma hideout. Inside, we find Maxie trying to wake up Groudon, and after the legend arises and flees, Maxie challenges us to a battle. Mightyenn's Intimidate lowers Azurill's attack by 1 stage, before he decides to use Swagger twice and raises it so much that Secret Power wipes out his entire team. I'm not sure that was the best strategy, but I'm okay with it. On the other side of Hoenn, Team Aqua are causing havoc. We don't get the chance to take on Archie, but we face off against a grunt, stalling for time while his boss escapes. It's yet another battle that Zuri breezes through. We have a bit of an issue coming up though. When we reach the 7th gym in Moss Deep City, Tate and Liza inform us that they won't battle us with just 1 Pokemon. Presumably, they're scared of being embarrassed by Zuri. Obviously I knew this was coming, but I was more interested in seeing how Azurill would fare late in the game. To be fair to Tate and Liza, I thought the best option would be to get a second Azurill to keep this as an Azurill only challenge, but target it with my first move so beyond that turn, Zuri is the only one battling. I caught 2 Marill, brought them to the daycare, received an egg, hatched that egg, and received a brand new Marill? I went to Google and learned that one of the Marill has to be holding sea incense for it to breed an Azurill. I went back to Google to learn where the hell sea incense was, and then brought it back to Morville, gave it to one of the Marill. Eventually we had another egg, and this time we managed to hatch an Azurill. By this point we've replaced Secret Power with Return for that bit of extra damage. Even though I aimed my first attack at number 2, Xatu outsped me and took her out first. With her target gone, Zuri decided to aim for Claydol instead and knocked it out in one. Another return takes down Xatu, and then it's a 1-on-2 against Solrock and Lunatone. Knowing we can't take them down in one go, Zuri uses a few double teams to up her evasion. From there we take down Lunatone, and after withstanding a Solar Beam and 2 Psychics from Solrock, we knock it out too, earning our 7th gym badge in the process. Even when trainers double up against us, they still can't beat Zuri. She is truly unstoppable. At the Moss Deep Space Center, we team up with Steven to take on Maxie and Head Magma Grunt Tabitha. If Zuri can defeat 2 Pokemon at a time, you can imagine she has no trouble when Steven's there to help. After obtaining the HM for Dive from Steven, we head to the underwater seafloor cavern. We meet Kyogre, but before it can be introduced to the legendary Pokemon Azurill, Archie interrupts us and insists on battling. Then we get another matchup against a trainer unworthy of even being in Zuri's presence. After defeating the Aqua Leader, he awakens Kyogre and it flees. In Sootopolis City, we locate Groudon and Kyogre facing off and circle them on an unconscious Marill chanting, "Fight, fight, fight, fight." Unfortunately, they choose to have a staring contest instead. Bored by their antics, we send Rayquaza their way and it banishes the duo. With everything back to normal, the Sootopolis City Gym is open to us once again, and it's time to get our final gym badge. The Sootopolis City Gym has one of my favourite gym puzzles from the whole series, but Juan doesn't live up to his own gym. Whenever a trainer with powerful Pokemon leads off with something weak, I feel like they're asking me to set up. I'm not sure if it was even required here though. In fact, I'm certain it wasn't. After using 6 double teams against Lovedisk, Azurill stopped wasting time and one-shotted Juan's whole team. With that, we've picked up our 8th gym badge, and it's time to make our way to the Elite Four. Before taking on the best of the best, we have to make our way through Victory Road. After entering the cave, we run into Wally, who has improved significantly since the last time we met. In addition to evolving Ralts into Gardevoir, he's caught Altaria, Delcatty, Magneton, and Roselia. It's a good team, but it's still no match for Azurill. We defeat Wally and make our way through Victory Road to Evergrande City. With that, it's time to take on Sydney. Like all of the Elite Four members, Sydney has 5 Pokemon. He specialises in Dark types, and his team consists of Mightyena, Shiftry, Cacturne, Crawdon, and Absol. Between Intimidate, Sand Attack, and Double Team, this battle was a total mess. Against Mightyena, Zuri's attack was lowered by 1 stage, her accuracy by 3, and her evasion was raised by 6. Shiftry then used Double Team and Swagger to confuse matters even more. From that point, Zuri managed to break through confusion 4 times in a row and hit all 4 shots. With the confusion and lowered accuracy, I think Zuri had less than a 1% chance of doing that, but when you're the best Pokemon in existence, these things are easy. With Sydney taken down, it's time to move on to the second member. Phoebe is up next, and her Ghost type specialty seems like a big problem for Azurill. For this battle, I replaced Charm with Toxic, as Return is no use here. I at least needed something else to deal damage. Being normal does help me avoid stab moves from 4 of our 5 Pokemon at least. This battle took quite a few tries because if her first Dusclops used Curse, Zuri would faint before the end. Once we got past her, it was a pretty simple battle. A combination of Rollout, Toxic, and Double Team takes down the remainder of Phoebe's team. Halfway through the Elite Four. Glacia is the 3rd member of the Elite Four, and she has an exceptionally boring team. I honestly have no idea why they decided to introduce an Ice-type specialist in a generation where only 2 fully evolved Ice types were even brought in. She has 2 Glalie, 2 Celios, and a Walrein. Between Double Team and Rollout, there wasn't much Glacia could do to stop Azurill. Hail wore Zuri down a bit, but she took out Glacia without too much trouble. With that, we've made it all the way to the final member of the Elite Four. Drake is the final member of the Elite Four, and his team of dragons is pretty formidable. Setting up double teams against Shelgon was necessary to avoid hits against Altaria, Kingdra, Flygon, and Salamence. Unfortunately, Altaria's Aerial Ace hits no matter what, and it does a lot of damage. After taking out Kingdra, Flygon hit Zuri with an Earthquake, which took her down to 36 HP. A bit more luck helps us over the line as Flygon and Salamence proceeded to miss every single one of their moves for the rest of the battle. With Drake down, Azurill has officially conquered all of Hoenn's Elite Four. Now, we just have the champion left to deal with. Wallace has 6 Pokemon ranging from level 55 to level 58. The Wailord he leads off with can be seriously problematic if underestimated. If he uses Water Spout at full health, it will destroy Zuri. The power of Water Spout is determined by the user's current HP. Its power is equal to 150 times the user's current HP over their max HP. Once Wailord's HP is low, we can set up a little bit and be ready for the rest of his team. Tentacruel goes down to 1 return after missing a Hydro Pump, and then Ludicolo faints in 1 hit after being restored from red health. Wallace uses another full restore on Whiscash, but he also goes down without dealing a single point of damage. Gyarados' Intimidate sort of helps Zuri out as it allows us to avoid another full restore usage and take him down in 2 hits. Milotic is the champion's final Pokemon. 1 return chips away around 2/3 of Milotic's health, but we run out of PP and have to move on to rollout. Even after a full restore, Milotic eventually goes down and Wallace is defeated. Azurill has officially beaten the Elite Four and champion of Hoenn. May and Bert show up to admire the great and powerful Zuri, but Wallace whisks us away before they can. Our Azurill is inducted into the Hall of Fame, confetti falls, and our journey is complete. Well, almost complete. There is of course one more trainer to take on. For the final battle of Pokemon Emerald, we got Zuri up to level 100, replace Toxic with Surf, and roll out with Attract. Steven Stone has 3 Steel-type Pokemon who make the move Toxic completely pointless, and 5 who resist return. As Zuri is female, Attract will be able to help against 4 of Steven's 6 Pokemon, and Surf gives us a super effective move against half of his team. With the prep done, we have to take down Skarmory. At level 77 with the ability Keen Eye, the biggest problem is Toxic, but as Aerial Ace never misses, it could also be an issue. The combination of Double Team and Attract was effective, but Skarmory still hit Zuri with 1 Aerial Ace. Armaldo is up next, but with Attract and Surf, he goes down without doing any damage. Claydol's third and can't be hit by Attract, but Double Team keeps it from hitting Zuri at all, and she knocks it out with Surf. Azurill makes it 3 quick knockouts in a row against Aggron and has almost full HP with just 2 Pokemon to go. Unfortunately, Steven's 5th Pokemon Cradily doesn't go down so easily. A combination of Ingrain and full restores made this battle nightmarish. The whole thing took 6 minutes, and Cradily did manage to get off 1 Giga Drain to knock Zuri down to about half health, but he eventually went down. Metagross is Steven's final Pokemon, and as Zuri hasn't got a super effective move and can't use Attract, this should be the toughest task yet. Luckily, Steven is out of healing items, and Metagross can't hit anything thanks to Double Team. With 1 final return, Metagross goes down, and Zuri has officially beaten Steven Stone and Pokemon Emerald. And with that, we've answered the question that we set out to answer. You can beat Pokemon Emerald using only Azurill. I really wasn't sure how far I could get with just Zuri, but after seeing how much the first struggle did, I was confident that I could go pretty far. Until that Metagross fainted though, I really didn't think beating Steven was a possibility. There was some strategy to the Unown challenge runs, but there was a lot more to this one. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I really grew to like Azurill. I hope, if you stuck around until now, that you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.